dimensional barrier, you might say, between the four dimensions you see and the multidimensionality that is the real reality of the soul, of the rest of the universe. You're not privy to that. It's interesting to see scientists and physicists specifically starting to be aware of it because they're touching it, they're seeing it. They're looking at marvelous things like entanglement and all things that are multidimensional, even cellular structure. Quantum biologists starting to have a peek into that. But so are you. As that veil becomes thinner or lifts between a standard linear 4D and a multidimensional reality on the other side of that veil, then things start to get interesting, especially for old souls. This is where you start to sense things that perhaps you never ever thought about before. It is the explanation of why so many people are awakening today to questions they would never have asked 20 years ago. Some have looked at the new generations coming in and say, well, they're smarter, they're more aware. And I'll tell you what's going on. They're receiving better tools than you ever had. And the tools are there in front of them. They don't have to ask for them. They don't have to work for them. They don't have to climb stairs or do chores for them. They just arrive. When they get there, their consciousness is more allied to the other side than yours was when you were born. But you're starting to see it as well. The Akash, it holds so many mysteries. But there is one commonality I'm going to give you in this lesson. And it's one perhaps you've thought of or not. If you are one today who is starting to awaken to a bigger truth, that's the description of you asking the questions. Is there more? Did I miss something? Is everything I've been told accurate and true, or could it be bigger? Is God bigger than I was told? Is there something there that I should know? These are questions of awakening. Now, if you are one of those, I can guarantee you that it wasn't the first time you asked those questions. Right now, you're asking them because the veil is lifting. But in past lives, you asked them because they were occurring to you because of your lineage of spirituality. Let me explain that. An old soul today awakening, and there are millions of you, have had numbers of past lives that have represented a spiritual quest. Did you hear that? How many of you believe you are in some kind of spiritual quest? Now, that's not just a group of people who are studying the Bible. That would be those of you who have decided to forsake the reality or comforts of home and even family, and to sequester yourself in a place of study or helping others. You might even call it nuns or priests. Whatever they were back in those days, whatever they were called, they were there. And you had the opportunity to then go there and study the spiritual part of all that you knew somehow was there. Are you with me? Many of you did this because you, what I would call, pre-awakened. It was a precursor of today. This is not the first time that you start asking questions that you're asking now. The difference is amazing. In a past energy, there were no lifting of the veil. You studied and you bowed and scraped and kneeled. But that's what you did to become spiritual. So you weren't really getting what you're getting even today. But it was the precursor of what you're doing today. It was a rehearsal for what you're doing today. So what is it that most of you, not just some of you, have in common? The summary: that you had some spiritual lives where this is all you did. Almost every single one who is listening to this program right now had some kind of spiritual life, or 2 or 3 or 4, where you did some kind of dedication to God. And in that, guess what you did? You gave vows. A vow to God goes right to the soul. And there is where it sticks. And that is the reality that you were taught then, and a reality I'm telling you now. With all of your consciousness as a human being, you give a vow to God to stick it out, to do this, do that, to dedicate your life. And over lifetime and lifetime after lifetime, how many vows did you give? A lot of them. Suddenly you show up in this lifetime, the veil is starting to lift, and guess what happens? All those vows are hitting you in the face. I did this, I said this, and you can't really tell where they're coming from, but they're starting to make a difference. And some of you are uncomfortable. That's not the vow I really want to give today, you might say. I feel it in me. I feel it that I've given a vow or 2 before. It's a vow that's not me today. Yes, I want a connection with Spirit. Yes, but I also want a family. Yes, I want to do this, but a vow in an old energy is very old, very restrictive, and is not you today. And yet there it is, hanging right in front of you. A vow that you gave in a past life that now is still seemingly active. I know you know where I'm going. And so it will be with a circle of 12. It's time to, number 1, recognize what I'm saying is accurate. Don't you feel, somehow, some way, that you've been part of spirituality before this life? Most of you will say, yes. Because when I awakened, it felt good. It felt like I was remembering, and you were. You were remembering there's a much bigger picture. That's the first thing. Well, number 2, you're starting then to remember what you said and what you did about it, and the vows are there. Some of you have even remembered giving them. That's how strong a vow is in a past life. And now, with the same energy that's revealing them comes the same energy to dismiss them. But rather than dismissing, you're going to rewrite them. You're going to rework them and reframe them. All of them are your attempt to find the bigger you, to know your soul, to find the bigger love of God, to dedicate yourself to this perhaps in a lifetime that is now. All of them have that in common. So why not take the essence of all of them into one? So you have the energy to literally sit and say to Spirit, Dear Spirit, I drop all of the old vows that are not my magnificence and that don't mean what they mean today. I hereby drop them, and I can do that because of what I'm about to do. A new one, a better one that encompasses them all and one's for this life only. And then, dear one, you can make up your vow. I could give you one, but it would be so generic. Every single one of you has a beautiful, beautiful vow. And it can run in any direction. Dear Spirit, I vow to be one of gratitude in this life and to awaken with gratitude and search for better things. That's a simple one. But there are those who want to go all the way. Dear Spirit, I dedicate this life to you and my search for the truth. It goes so many ways. But in all of them, please use the word love. Please understand that this new vow is one where you're seeing the veil lift and you're claiming a bigger truth that you're going to discover. And in the process, you vow to look for this or something better. In the process of the vow itself, you make affirmations and you make claims of who you are and what you're doing. That's the vow of today. I am sitting here telling you that it is a real thing. These vows that you've taken, dear ones, they sit right in front of you. What are you going to do? Well, perhaps the circle of 12 will help. Well, maybe the Akashic angel that some of you are going to meet will help. We'll see. I'm crying in love with all of you. And so it is.
And following that beautiful message from Kryon, I invite you, bring your awareness back into your body. And as you're moving your awareness to be more fully present in your body, I invite you to open your eyes if you've had your eyes closed. And as we bring this energy with us, it's going to be the perfect energetic posture for what is to come, because this evening we have a very special guest who comes to us, I want to say, across the galaxies, and her name is Viviane Chauvet, and I want to make sure she's on the Zoom feed with us. Viviane, are you there?
I am right here. So happy to be with all of you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, we are honored to have you. And I mentioned a little of traveling through the galaxies to have Viviane join us tonight. And if you're wondering what that means, well, we want to tell you about that.
You know, we have always taught that we are not alone, and the galaxy is our family, and that's being more and more, I think, shown just by who's showing up and as humans on this planet. Viviane is one of these. Viviane Chauvet is an advanced Arcturian hybrid avatar. She may tell you a little more about that. She's a published author, international public speaker, creator of the Arcturian Energy Matrix Healing and Arcturian Healing Arts program. She's also the owner of Infinite Healing from the Stars. Over the past decade, this is hard to fathom. Viviane has conducted 22,000 private healing sessions worldwide, probably more by now, and transformative changes in quantum evolution. Wow. Her presence emanates the radiance of the Arcturus 13th light dimension system.
In 2007, Viviane underwent a significant awakening and energetic reset. And that's when she received her holographic and quantum healing training with the Arcturian Council. She furthered her studies and became certified in crystalline soul healing, unity field healing, QHHT, and theta healing. She's an emissary and multidimensional conduit for various star delegations, including the Lyrans, Syrians, Andromedans, and other interstellar group consciousness.
In 2020, Viviane founded an online community of like-minded people with exclusive memberships, online events, retreats, and many benefits. She is the producer and co-host of the Infinite Star Connections podcast. Viviane, welcome to our program.
Thank you so much, both Lee and Monica. Such a joy to be in the presence of your community. It is exciting. I would say that my entire delegation has been very much looking forward for our time together. So thank you for taking the time with me.
I also feel the energies.
Yeah.
There's such a softness happening within me right now.
Really,
and
there's
gentleness.
a peacefulness. It's like it's really
It's descended upon
me.
me. And
right.
I'd like you to share with us, if possible, what happened in 2007 with that awakening to bring you to the point where you're at now.
With joy. So 2007 was one of the big pivotal time for me, which was already part of my timeline. So I came back on this planet as an Arcturian being, and I took on this hybrid form. So the hybrid part of me is my body, but I am an Arcturian being. So in 2007, when I moved from Montreal, Canada to Arizona, my delegation stated that the original energetic grid of the desert will accelerate my next level of evolution. So what happened is that when I arrived between 2006 and 2007, I came across a group of beautiful, like-minded people, and we went into an expedition on the other rim of the Grand Canyon. And something major happened for me during that time when we spent the night right there in the dark, in the desert, under the stars. In a group of ancestors came and started to play the drum for me. And I could hear them, a group of ancestral, beautiful spirit energy beings who came, and they were just drumming because my physical form was already starting to go into a huge, huge shift. So as a result of this, when I came back from this expedition, for an entire month, my entire brain function got completely rewired. My internal gateway systems, my body shifted completely. And that was the initial movement into coming